So any one of those events would have been stressful for the average person. So to do them all at once in the space of 5 months, my body just couldn't handle it. I was constantly stressed. I was constantly in that fight or flight mode that they call it. I never came down from that in that whole 5 months, because I constantly felt like I was worried I was going to forget something or do something wrong, make a mistake. I'm a perfectionist, and my wedding had to be perfect, and I did so many little touches on the side which most people probably wouldn't bother with, or they would hire someone to do it. Little decorations and little photo things that you can hold up to make better pictures and things like that, just little things that don't actually matter. But I got obsessed over it, and being a perfectionist isn't ideal either. Actually, it's very harmful to be a perfectionist, because good enough is all you need to aim for. When you're a perfectionist, you end up getting too controlling and too overwhelmed, and it's also very damaging when things go wrong. So you need to be a bit more lenient in that respect. Running out of daylight here. Hopefully I'll make it back home before the light fades. So that's when my adrenal fatigue became apparent. Was the day of my wedding. I ended up in hospital because I'd sweated so much in my dress and I didn't replenish all of the salts that I was losing. With adrenal fatigue, it's very common for you to it's very easy for you to overexert yourself, and when you do, you need to replenish potassium and sodium, and they're exactly the drips that they put me on in hospital. So that was kind of ruined the end of the wedding day. But after that I kept getting ill. I kept getting chronic kidney infections, so I was on antibiotics for a long time, and that damaged my gut massively. So I then had leaky gut, and I had to heal that. So I'm not qualified in nutrition or anything like that, by the way. I've just suffered from adrenal fatigue for a long time, and I sought the help of various nutritionists who helped me in different ways. So the first one helped me to work on my gut and my digestion so that I could start absorbing nutrients from food and get some energy back. So I did get quite a bit of energy back, but then due to a stressful job and not getting on with my manager at the time, I ended up bedridden in 2018. Scariest thing I've ever experienced in my life. You crawl out of bed to go to the toilet, and then you wonder how you're going to get back in again. It's literally, I've had loads of illnesses over my life. I've had operations and chronic kidney infections, which, kidney infections can make you feel like you're literally dying sometimes. But this, being bedridden, was the scariest thing I've ever experienced. And now, a few years later, I've got my energy back to almost normal, but I can't quite get over that last hurdle, which I'm hoping to this year, 2022. So when I was bedridden in 2018, the nutritionist that had been helping me just dumped me. She couldn't help me anymore. She stopped responding to me. So I felt very alone. And so then I had to find another one. I was lucky that I could move back in with my parents. So family and friend support is very important if you've got a chronic condition, because sometimes you need them, and you need them for things that normal people do for everyday life, such as cooking, cleaning. My parents have helped me a huge amount. My mum comes around and does some washing up for me sometimes, because she knows that working almost full time, I don't always have the energy to do that as well as cook dinner, Anyway, so I had to find another nutritionist. This time I found a nutritionist to help me sleep, because I've never been a good sleeper. However, it's one of the crucial things that you need to sort out in order to recover. So I found a nutritionist who helped me massively with sleep, and I'll do a video on sleep later. So once she'd helped with my sleep, I then wanted to find another nutritionist to help get my energy back again. So the nutritionist would do various tests, or I say nutritionist, it doesn't have to be a nutritionist, it could be a naturopath, it could be Chinese medicine, herbalists, anyone like that who can help you in a different way. Oh, my normal route has been blocked. Oh no, here it is. Anyone that can help you run some tests that the doctors don't do, because doctors will just run a blood test and then they'll say, oh, everything's normal, you're fine. Whereas the nutritionist did a cortisol test, which is a 24-hour saliva test, and that's when they first told me that I had adrenal fatigue. So I had really high cortisol levels at night when I was meant to be low to help me sleep, and I had really low cortisol levels in the morning when you're meant to have loads to wake you up. So that's why I couldn't sleep. I'd be absolutely exhausted, but then my eyes would feel like they were wide awake, like they had cocktail sticks stuck in them, because that's what adrenal fatigue feels like, especially stage 1. Cortisol racing around your body, you're releasing so much of it and you can't sleep. So anyway, the last nutritionist I didn't really feel much benefit from, if I'm honest, and they cost a lot of money, so you just have to find the right one for you. They will advise you on what tests you might need to do and what supplements you might need to take. I'm not an expert, as I said. A good starting point is vitamin C, vitamin D drops, and vitamin Bs are very important for me, but they might not be so vital for you. But it's important that you also get good quality vitamins. I get them from a website called the Natural Dispensary, so their vitamins have very little additives and chemicals in them. So again, they're even better for you. And then, you need to look at your diet. You need to eat organically wherever possible. Lots of organic vegetables, different variety of colours every day. 7 to 9 portions a day. Not your 5 a day, 7 to 9. Try and steam it if you can. That's the best and easiest way to keep all the nutrients within the food. Sorry, I can't remember if I'm meant to turn down here. I'm going to get lost. Anyway, so diet is very important, sleep is very important. Try and do very light exercise like yoga, walking. They're very good for you. Try and do something that you enjoy as well, like a hobby. It's important that you don't forget who you are and that you still enjoy certain things. It's very easy to get into a very depressed slum when you first get diagnosed, or even a year after you get diagnosed. You feel like no one can help you because the doctors can't help you. And all your friends and family keep saying, go back to the doctors, go back to the doctors. What you're experiencing isn't normal. Damn right it's not. However, because it's not a quick fix that the doctors can just give you a pill for, they're not interested. They're not interested. I had a doctor that was only interested in giving me antidepressants because he owns part of a pharmaceutical company. So every time I went there, he just said, oh, you're depressed, take these. It's like, no, I've had enough of this shit. I'm not depressed. I'm fed up because I feel like shit every single day. I wake up and I feel like I haven't slept. And, that's really hard when you have to work full time because you live on your own. You've got no partner to support you, as in my case. So as I said, getting your family and friends to understand is a very important step, and it takes a lot of explaining because it's a complicated thing. So try and explain it to them as best you can. You might have to explain it a few times, but to try and do that because you really do need their support. Without it, it'll be really hard for you to recover. So yeah, as I said, I'm not an expert, I'm just speaking from my own experience. But this year, do you know what? I'm going to get better. I'm determined. I got some chocolate at Christmas. I'm going to eat it all, what's left of it today, tomorrow. No more chocolate, maybe a tiny bit of dark chocolate. Dark chocolate's not too bad, it's quite good for the liver. But no more added sugar, no more gluten, no more caffeine. Do you know what? Coffee is actually really bad for you. It's one of the most highly chemically sprayed products that you can ingest in your body. So just imagine if you have a few cups of coffee a week, all those chemicals are going into your body and into your liver. So you're giving your body extra work, and it needs energy in order to detox itself. That energy could be given to you to walk or do some tasks throughout the day. But please keep listening to your body. If your body is saying to you it needs a nap, take a nap. I took 6 weeks off work when I was bedridden, and to be honest, that wasn't enough. The doctors at the time forced me to go back. They wouldn't give me another sick note, and I wish I'd stood my ground, because I was not ready to go back to work. I could barely walk. When I had a shower, I had to sit down in the bath because I didn't have the energy to stand up and shower. And then brushing my teeth, I had to sit on the toilet to brush my teeth. And they sent me back to work in that condition. Back to the place where it made me bedridden in the first place. So another thing that's really important, not just listen to your body and have naps when it tells you to, but try and get into meditation and mindfulness. There's lots of guided mindfulness on YouTube. That's where I suggest you start, because meditation can be a bit more complex. It takes a lot of practice. So mindfulness, you listen to a 10-minute guided mindfulness. I recommend Honest Guys on YouTube. Just listen, and if you drift off, if your mind wanders, then just go back to your breathing and then go back to listening to what they say. And if you just do 5 or 10 minutes a day, really helps calm your mind, because you might be an overthinker like me. You might have a situation going on where you literally cannot switch off, and all you think about is how you're going to resolve the situation, or how you're going to improve in this, or how you're going to make this money this week. It just gives you 10 minutes where your mind can switch off and stop worrying and stop overthinking, and that will help with your recovery as well. So it's a very complicated illness. There's loads of things you need to do to recover, but you know what, we can do it. We can do it together. You're not alone. Even if your friends don't understand, my friends took a long time to understand. Some of them still don't. They're not always there for you when you think they're going to be. You think they're going to pop round and see you because you can't go out anymore, you've lost your social life. They might not. It doesn't mean they're not caring about you or not thinking about you. It most likely means they don't understand what you're actually going through. So don't completely write them off, and just explain it to them when you can. So keep going, guys. I feel you. I know what you're going through. Stick with it, listen to your body, and don't beat yourself up if you don't manage to get out today, or if you can't quite walk for 5 minutes. Don't beat yourself up, you will get there. Just it takes a long time, but just keep eating healthily. Even if it makes you feel like poo at the time, stick with it, because eventually you'll start seeing a difference. You'll start seeing your energy increase. It might not be for 2 days in a row, it might just be for 1 day, and if it does increase, still try not to push yourself too much, because you might then steal energy from the next day, or the next day, or the next day. Say no to people. Don't feel like you have to say yes all the time if they ask you for a favour, or if they ask you to come out. You don't have to. Listen to your body. Think about yourself. Put yourself first for the first time. Us perfectionists can sometimes be very conscientious and caring people, and as a result you can sometimes put them before you, but your body is telling you right now to put you first. Okay, so do it. Put you first right now. Make that your New Year's resolution. Okay, love you guys, see you soon.